This is the Dari and Mel podcast with Dari Noka and Mel Kiper Jr.
Let's go playoff picks. Mel, I'm going to start it. Good?
Go ahead.
All right. We've kind of got
going 4-1.
You want to go 4-1?
I think we would prefer to do that. And then you can tell me at your first out.
Right.
Who was your you were debating for that fourth spot.
Gosh. Then I think we should go 1-4.
Okay.
All right. Let's go 1-4 because then that builds the drama. Who's the last team in? Who's the last team?
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Number one at the end of the year to me is going to be number one at the beginning of the year. All right. I said Alabama wins the SEC. I do believe that. I will have them number one in the country going in. I think they win the opener against Florida State, and I think that because I like them as a really bad matchup for a rebuilding or really not very good offensive line for Florida State. If Florida State had a better offensive line to better protect DeAndre Francois and open up things for that run game, which is going to be just fine, I think, without Dalvin Cook, I'd like them, but I don't. So I'm going to take Alabama then to go and win the SEC. And make the playoff. Number two for me going into the playoff, my Big Ten champions, Ohio State. It's a team I struggled to pick them over Penn State in the Big Ten. I really considered Penn State. I like the fact that for Ohio State that game is in the shoe in Columbus. I will take Ohio State to win the Big Ten and reach the playoff. Alabama 1, Ohio State 2. Number three, my Sooner brethren have given me, quite frankly, hell today on Twitter. Ever since I picked Oklahoma State, very unbiasedly, to win the Big 12 Conference. I think that, and I look, you want to get on and say, hey, OU wins in Stillwater every year. Fine, they might. They might. You know me, I hope they do. And I hope I'm dead wrong about Oklahoma State in the Big 12. But there's a championship game in this league. And I think we're going to get Bedlam twice. I think it's going to be awesome. And I think in the end, Oklahoma State is going to win this thing. And not only are they going to win it, I think they're going to make the playoff. I think what should have happened with them getting to that BCS title game before they choked in Ames against Iowa State, I think it happens this year for them. I love the stability of Mike Gundy. I love the offense led by Mason Rudolph. Best group of receivers in America. Really good run game in Justice Hill, 1,000-yard back. They're good. And if they get any defense at all, that's a playoff team. Oklahoma State goes to the playoff for the first time as the number 3 spot. Number 4, my Pac-12 champs, Washington. That's my playoff group, Alabama, Ohio State, Oklahoma State, Washington. Leaving Clemson out as ACC champs. I do have a concern that the ACC champ will have 2 losses. I think that might keep them out this year. So I'm going to leave the ACC out of the playoff after winning the national title. I'll take Ohio State if I play this thing through over Oklahoma State. Alabama over Washington again. Give me the Buckeyes and the Tide with Alabama beating Ohio State in a phenomenal national championship game.
All right, so you have Alabama over Ohio State.
Yep, with Oklahoma State and Washington also making the playoff.
Okay, very good.
All right, that's my playoff. What about you?
You're going to go 1-4, right?
Go 1-4.
I'm going to go with your number 4 to win a national championship. I'm going to go to the Washington Huskies. Yeah, I look at that team, Dari, with Browning, who is a really good college quarterback, the coach, the way he prepares. They got the running game with Pettis in the return game, the line, the defense, every line of defense. They got studs up front, and they got speed at linebacker, and on the back end, some developing talent and some veterans. Yeah, I'm going to go Washington. I'm going to go Washington 1.
Wow.
Washington 1, because I don't see anybody else that really wows me. Okay? And I kept looking last night. Who else is up there to really scare me? Alabama, you talked about the offensive line at Florida State. How about Alabama's pass rush? Where's it coming from? Okay, where you see those guys, you can just recreate stars and just plug and play?
No. You know why I like Alabama, though? I like them better offensively than I have in years. We're talking Bo Scarborough, we're talking Damian Harris and Josh Jacobs and the freshman Najee Harris. 99.9% of their rushing yards are back. Jalen Hurts, I think, getting help from Brian Dable, becoming a more complete passer. Like, I think offensively is where Alabama's biggest strength is. That's why I have them one and winning the national title.
All right. I'm going to go 2 with Ohio State, and I don't love Ohio State this year, but I don't love anybody else. I don't really love any team. I don't think there's any dominant teams in college football, but Ohio State, and they still may win a lot of games just because of the schedule and what's out there. Ohio State's got some questions. There's no doubt about it, but Barrett seems like he is going to be primed for a huge season and put up big numbers and maybe win a Heisman Trophy. So I think you got Browning at Washington, you got Barrett, you follow the coach and the quarterback. So you got Urban Meyer and J.T. Barrett, you got Peterson and Browning, okay?
Yep.
Common theme here. Who's 3? Florida State, okay? Jimbo with all those great recruits. DeAndre Francois, again, ready to go. I'll put Florida State at 3. At 4, I have a lot of confidence in Jarrett Stidham. I have a lot of confidence in Mason Rudolph. It got down to Auburn or Oklahoma State. You put Oklahoma State in there, I'll go to Auburn. I just think this is Auburn's year with Stidham at quarterback to get it done. You mentioned the running game. They have receivers that can catch the ball. The line is a veteran group. I like offensive line play is key. And if you look at these teams, Florida State, yeah, a little iffy, but I think they'll be better than advertised. Got down to Auburn, Oklahoma State. I'll put Auburn at 4, Oklahoma State first team out.
Wow. All right, so we have 2 teams that are the same. We both agree Washington gets in, and we both put Ohio State in. But I've got Alabama over Ohio State in the national title. You've got Washington over Ohio State?
I'll put we'll have Washington playing Auburn. I'll say Washington over Florida State.
Okay. Washington over Florida State for the national championship. You and I last year, for the record, both had Florida State winning the national title. Mm-hmm. So, and you're right. You said this earlier. We don't typically do very well on these.
No, I'll give them a shot again. The talent and the coach is what I tried to follow here. And with Jimbo's, the way he goes into halftime and makes those adjustments, he's done it before. He can do it again. So the Jameis year, we remember that one. I look at coaches that don't lose much, and that's the guys I kind of factored in here, especially in a year where it's hard to find complete teams. It really is, Dari. Teams that are on both sides of the ball, you say, boy, I think Washington may be the most complete.
I kind of do, too. I think what surprised me the most, and I'd love your answer on this, too. What surprised you the most as you were really diving in this week, knowing we were going to hit these previews like this? Because for me, I think all off season, just on the surface, without really diving in, reading, listening, watching, talking to people, before really diving in, I thought for sure I was going to have USC in the playoff. Mm-hmm. I thought for sure I'd have them potentially winning a title. I thought I'd have Washington down a little bit. Part of me said, look out for Oregon under Willie Taggart year 1. I didn't expect to have Washington here until I really dove in. And I'm with you. They are more complete than SC in the Pac-12, and maybe they're the most complete team. My deal with Alabama is I'm tired of picking against them. I'm tired of them proving me wrong. And I'm riding him, and I'm going to ride him to a national championship.
Hey, it's hard not to take Alabama, but I look at that defense, and I just don't know if you can all of a sudden reload every year with great players. And you didn't get much production out of those 3 last year. I said 3 sacks from 3 guys combined, and all that talent left. Defensive line, linebacker. Secondary with Marlon Humphrey leaving early for the NFL. Eddie Jackson was injured, but he was also a punt returner when he was out there. They got a lot of talent coming back. There's no doubt about it. They got studs on defense, as you mentioned. A lot of weapons on offense. Ridley is great. But they lost some key guys as well. So that's why I went with Auburn.
Yeah. If you can stop their run game, more power to you. Maybe Auburn's the team that can do that with that late end of the season game on the Plains there at Jordan-Hare. We'll see. But finally, again, our playoff predictions, we'll recap them for you. I've got Alabama, Ohio State, Oklahoma State, Washington in. Bama over Ohio State as the title game. Mel has Washington, Ohio State, Florida State, Auburn, with Washington over Florida State, giving the Huskies and Chris Peterson the national championship there.